So I was able to. I was worried about changing the volume. I didn't want to just mute it, and then it caused a problem with the recording.
Yeah.
And you're like,
back when like you're first getting started with all that kind of stuff, like even changing the volume on the Mac, it's like.
yeah,
It's like coming over the sound. I was like, what is that?
This is a good way to start, I think, right?
and Friday. This Friday.
Friday! Friday! Friday!
Smoking on the mountains. Yeah. Look at me. Oh. You can move the mountains. You can move the mountains. You can move the mountains.
We can cut that out.
We'll have to cut by. Hey guys, good to be back with you for another video. As you can see, and as we mentioned before, we have a guest with us today. Brother Kyle Chavis, I think, is in this area somewhere. He may be blurred out, he may not. We'll see. The fun of editing. Anyway, we're excited to have him here. Thankful for you coming to be with us, and we're going to jump into a few topics with him today.
Yeah, thanks for coming, Kyle. We've been talking about this for a little bit. Pretty excited about it. Obviously, somebody in your position, as youth president, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later too. But you come from a prominent family in ministry. Your dad pastored for a long time, still pastoring. Both your brothers are highly involved in ministry, different things, different levels. Both have pastored or are currently pastoring, and then you find yourself in this role as youth president. Talk to us a little bit about maybe how you got started in that. Is because you have the Chavis name and the other family members part of that you said, well, maybe this is just something I need to do? How much of that was your environment and then your own spiritual walk with God, and I mean, wherever you want to take that?
Sure. First, thanks for having me. It's awesome to be able to come and talk and have conversation for young people, because that's my ministry. That's where my heart is. And just growing up in the church here in North Carolina, the greatest place on earth.
Amen.
Just a plug there. Tar Heel State. But
Go Wildcats.
Anyway, growing up in ministry, it was fun. It was interesting, different than most people would probably think, because I heard recently someone asked a pastor, what do you do? And they're like, well, I'm the pastor of the church. And they're like, so you just sleep in and you just work once a week? Like, you just come in and work and preach for once a week, that's it? But no, ministry is different than a job. And I know jobs are something that everybody has, and a lot of ministry is a job, but ministry itself is 24/7.
Yeah.
And so growing up in a household where my dad was my pastor, my mom is a speaker. She speaks all over. And just growing up in that environment, ministry became my life, because it was my parents' life. And they raised me and my brothers in a way to not resent the ministry, because I see that a lot with PKs, and because it takes up such amount of their time.
Mm-hmm.
Like the ministry, it's,
Yeah.
like I said, it's 24/7. So the young people feel left out, or the PKs, the pastor's kids, they feel like second fiddle to the church and that kind of stuff. But my parents did a great job of keeping us, at the forefront, keeping us in ministry, involved in ministry. So it became a part of my life. And I would say I was a late bloomer. My brothers both started preaching young, started singing young. I didn't really get into music until, I was around 14 or 15. And, music kind of became my life, church music, ministry of music. And yes, music is ministry. Just throwing that out there. I don't know if you guys ever heard of David, King David. So music is ministry, and that's where I saw myself, and I was there, and I started working with our youth group at a young age as well. Just my brother was youth pastor, and I would help him out. I was kind of like a volunteer. I was still youth age, but I was helping out. I was going to events and things and just being a help. And I just kind of stuck with it. I was like, this is kind of, this is something I love. I love helping young people, grow. Being a mentor. And of course, I wasn't a mentor at 16. That would just be. I was mentoring young people that were not saved, that could look up to me. I started having that mindset at a young age as it's not just about me. It's about, I'm living my life for God. I'm living for God.
Yeah.
But that's not just for me. That's for everybody that sees me.
Yeah.
Right. I always learned at a young age to present myself in a way that will help others, and also protect our name. Just keep everything on the up and up. So I wasn't always good at that, but I was taught.
Part of the process,
That's
right? It's part of the growing.
Yeah.
We all have a process. So just growing up in ministry, put me in that direction. And I went to Bible college for music, and I came home, and I was put into the music in Spring Lake at United, and I've been doing music since 2009 as a music director. So that's a long time ago. Some of you are probably not born yet, or just infants. So I was doing that, and just from there, I decided, this can't just be it. I can't just be playing music for the rest of my life and just singing. So I started getting more involved with the youth, and I became youth pastor 6 years ago. I don't know what year that was, 2013, I think. And then just being youth pastor and ministering, weekly, having conversations with young people and mentoring and things of that nature, I started then to pursue ministry beyond just the local church.
Yeah.
And, taking myself beyond, because that's something I believe that we should all do, is not sit still.
Yeah.
And I learned that from being a musician, is that we never reach, we're never the best.
Right.
There's
Even
always
if you feel
somebody.
like it for a minute.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Even if you're like, I'm the best, bass player there is.
Yeah.
I'm the best keyboard player there is.
Which, by the way,
it's
dude's
not
dope.
true.
Just saying, dude's good.
I'm okay. And I can say I'm okay because I know musicians that are 10 times better than me.
Yeah.
And personally, and of course I know of musicians that are, is amazing.
Right.
And if you were to sit down with them and say, have you reached that level yet? They would say no.
Right.
I'm still learning.
Yeah.
And
I'm
that's
still
what
going
speaks
through.
to what makes you really achieve or good at anything, is that drive to constantly push to become better.
Yes.
And that's not even just focused towards an instrument. That's life. That's ministry. That's everything. As long as you constantly have that pursuit to continue to improve yourself and to better yourself, not in vanity, even though some people do. That is their drive. From a standpoint of a Christian, obviously, constantly looking to improve your life, not for you or not to exalt you, but to exalt God and to let His light shine through you. That's what makes it. It's that drive. That's what pushes you through or takes you through that process of refinement and making you into who you are.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can always do better. I can be better at everything. I can be a better musician. I can be a better youth pastor. I can do better at prayer.
Yeah.
I can pray more. I can do better at reading my word. I can fast more. I can always do better than what I'm doing.
Right.
So I can't have the mindset ever to say I've reached it. I'm here. I have arrived.
Right.
Because as soon as I have that mindset, I have.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Right.
There's no
Done
more
growing.
growing.
Yeah.
No more growing for me.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the ministry, like getting involved in the district and things like that, I started to pursue. I talked to my dad. I feel like I should, get my license, my ministerial license, and pursue that. And he got behind me, and I went through all the things that I needed to go through,
Right.
and met the board, and I got my license, and from there, I think immediately the Section 2 position came open for youth. So that's when I was appointed as Section 2 director, and had a great time doing that. I love Section 2. Whoop.
Yeah.
And from there, just really not looking for position or looking for anything like that. It's just I wanted to push myself beyond, because getting ministerial license at the age of 31 or 30, I can't remember, is, in my mindset, I'm like, that's kind of old. Like, I'm like late. I'm a bit late.
That's kind of true, because
I was
usually-
thinking that, considering that my brothers, did it earlier on
Yeah.
in their lives. So, and I never compared myself. That's one thing that someone would look at me and be like, "Oh man, Kyle has to live up to court." He's
Well,
this
and I actually
amazing
was
singer.
that's where I was headed. I was
You know-
actually going to ask you that, because growing up, not only in the shadow of your parents, because you do have two awesome parents that have been really at the helm of a lot of ministry in the state, obviously, from your dad, even sectional positions and district positions, and your mom, the way she's really from a local level and working with ladies ministry and mentoring people and that type of thing, to becoming like you said, she travels all over and speaks all over. And so you look at them, and then down through obviously your brother Brock being in position in youth pastor, but youth president. When I moved here, he came in not too long after that and was youth president for several years. And then moving on to work there at headquarters, and obviously court, and his involvement not only in ministry and in preaching, but in music as well, and the way he's traveled, and the church they have there in Loganville, and doing an awesome job there. So it would be very easy to try to, like you said, you feel like you're kind of tardy to the party in a sense of getting your license late and different things like that, but then also having this lineage there that you're following as awesome examples, but that awesome example could also be something that could be a threshold or something for you to look at to compare yourself to, that could also be dangerous in a way, spiritually. So I think you kind of headed that direction. You can talk about that a little.
Absolutely. I never ever thought to myself, man, I wish I could sing like Court. Or preach like Court, or preach like Brock, or man, Brock was youth president, man, I bet I could be youth president. I bet I could do just as good a job as he did. I never thought that. I've never compared myself to them. I just know that they are who they are. I am who I am.
Yeah,
I don't have to, and that can speak to. Hopefully, it can speak to somebody watching, to tell you that you don't have to be someone else. You don't have to be like someone else.
Yeah.
You don't have to be as good as someone else, because that's just a comparison.
Right, and family
To
or
something
otherwise,
else.
right?
Yeah,
not even just saying in this
doesn't have
aspect
to be
of family, but
it doesn't have to be family. It can be anybody. When you start comparing yourself to someone else, you're cutting yourself short,
Yeah.
because God doesn't look at us in comparison. He sees all of us as individuals.
Yeah.
He sees us as who we can be. He already sees us, just like Gideon in the Bible. Gideon was a farmer, and he was pretty much a nobody, and God came to him and was like, "You mighty man of valor."
Right.
And Gideon's like, "What?"
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'm over here like on the threshing floor, hiding, might I add. He wasn't on the threshing floor, he was somewhere else. They were in battle, and the armies were there, so he was finding food for his family, the least tribe. He was the least. This is what he told God: "I'm the least in my tribe, which is the least of all the tribes."
Yeah.
He was like, I'm the lowest of the low. And
Right.
God's like, you mighty man of valor.
Yeah.
God doesn't see how we see. You know,
Yeah.
He doesn't look at us and see us in the box that we have ourselves in. He sees us how He knows we can be, how He knows that He can use us. So if you're ever thinking, you know what, I'm not good enough, I can't do this, I can't be in this position, or I can't do something. If you ever find yourself in that position, just read the Bible.
Yeah. Right.
Everybody
Right.
that God used in the Bible was at one point in that position.
Right.
Well, we hope you guys like this video with our North Carolina Youth President, Brother Kyle Chavis. We appreciate his time and coming up and hanging out with us a little bit and recording several of these videos. We have a few more that'll follow this, ranging over several topics, including one video you guys won't want to miss. We tell a few camp stories of old. Brother Kyle Chavis breaks out one from clear back in the Methodist days. I know you guys will love it. We all had a good laugh. So stay tuned. And as always, we love you guys. We'll catch you on the next video. God bless.